Hi there. Welcome back, my beautiful beings. How are you today? So in this gorgeous video, I've been guided to talk to you about meditation. It's been coming up a lot lately, and it seems to be something I'm feeling that there are a lot of people out there with questions about meditation, about how it works, or why bother doing meditation at all. Now, our question in this one is, and please let us know in the comments if I ever get to see them. We'll talk about this later in the video. But for now, what is the purpose of meditation? What do you think meditation is for? Really sit with yourself. If you need to pause the video, or we'll just do the close your eyes thing. So close your eyes. What is the purpose of meditation? What is meditation for in your mind? Let the answers come up. Okay, you can open your eyes now. So, my beautiful beings, I actually looked this one up today. And meditation is a tool. It's just something that we use to connect to our higher self. We use meditation to receive guidance, to connect with spirit, to connect with our inner voice, our inner wisdom. All of that. Now, if you're sitting in your garden, you're out there, right? You're sitting with a tree and you receive this beautiful message. Is that meditation? And by message, I don't mean a text on your phone. I mean, you're just sitting there and you receive this beautiful guidance about your children. You know, you've been asking this question for a few days now. What should I do? What should I do with my daughter, my son, whatever it is, whatever your question is, this burning question. Say you've had a fight with one of your children, and that's been in the back of your mind. What do I do? What do I do? I need guidance. And all of a sudden you're sitting outside underneath a beautiful tree. And in that moment, you just take a deep breath in and just let everything go for a moment. And you just observe your garden. And in that moment, you receive this gorgeous message. This is what you should do with your son, your daughter. Talk to them, apologize. Whatever the message is, because I don't know what the fight was about, so I'm not going to get into it with you guys. But, okay, maybe apologize. Maybe, have a bit more understanding, be a bit more compassionate, be a bit more open, be more, I don't know, whatever the message is that's just come through, because that message was for you, specifically for your situation. So, that is meditation. I've sat in my garden and I just, just sat. Sometimes it can be through breathing. That's why I love doing breathing exercises. There's quite a few courses that I do this breathing exercise. And it's just when you focus on the breathing with certain counting and everything, you're focusing on the numbers, on the counting, you're focusing on the breathing. So your mind's occupied. We get the mind occupied. That's what the whole point of the beautiful garden is. To occupy the mind with all these beautiful things that are around you. Look at the beauty around you. And so the mind in that moment may be still, it's always working. It never turns off. But, because energy never stops, So it could be that in that moment it's distracted. That's a better word. I don't like the word still, because still to me is like it stopped. And it never stops. We never stop. We go on forever. So, yes, still could be to make it quieter. To try and make it completely quiet, for me, has been impossible. And yet, I meditate all the time, So, there are different ways of meditating, and you just need to find what works for you. For me, it has been Reiki. But the whole time I'm in my Reiki session, I'm telling my mind what to focus on. And then from there, like whether it's the chakra that we're working on and I'm putting in the symbols, and then we sit, because I've got my whole spirit team with me, I've already called them in, I call them in individually. I thank them individually when I call them in. I give them a hug. I tell them I love them. I take that time, and then with each chakra, we wait for the information, but the whole time I'm focused on, okay, they're around me. I'm aware that my spirit team is around me. I have my mind already, distracted with all of that. So it's not going off with, oh, what's my daughter doing? What's my husband doing? What's the next bill that I have to pay? Or, all of that. Life, basically. So for me, Reiki has been just magic. Since I've been doing that, I don't have a problem with meditating, because for me, meditating is receiving guidance. That's all it is. Receiving the messages that are for your path, I've also received messages through guided meditations, and that's why I love them so much, because when you go through a guided meditation, you're listening to the person's voice, you're visualizing. So the mind, again, is distracted with that visualization the whole time. It's not off with the fairies on, oh, I've got to do this and I've got to do that and I've got to, no, life. It'll be there when you get back to it. It's not going anywhere, So find what works for you. For me, I'm never going to find that my mind is just going to turn off, because it just doesn't. It's always in overdrive, always. When it's not thinking of the next book that, I've got to go through now, the next course, because I have the whole course already mapped out, my mind's always busy. So I have to find a different way that I can just connect, and it can be as simple as, there've been so many times I'm just driving the car and a song will come on and I really connect to that song, because it'll take me back to a time in my life where every song connects to a memory, whether I was 15 or I was 12, that song was playing. And as I connect to that part of myself in that moment, sometimes my spirit guides come in and we all celebrate together. Oh yeah, I remember when that song came out, and we all start dancing together, and I'll have that moment. And that reminds me every time that I'm not alone, that they're always there. They've always been there. They were there when I had that moment when I was 12, which is really, really beautiful. So meditation is really about receiving information and guidance from your higher self, from your spirit guides, all of that. And it's about you finding what works for you. Because what works for you may not work for me, and what works for me may not work for others, But if you sit and you stare at a candle for half an hour or an hour and you receive amazing information coming through, then that works for you. Do that. If you can get the mind to slow down enough, that this other beautiful information can come through. I just found for me that it just gets easier and easier the higher you vibrate into the frequency of love. The more in love you are, the easier it is to connect for me. So, just if you have any questions, ask in the comments below, because I find when I read the comments, I always receive information for another video for someone else. It may be for you, but I usually find it's for others as well, And that was the thing, to make people aware that I don't see many comments on my YouTube channel. I don't know why. I put it down to, look, it could be one of two things. I have been looking into it, like I started to research, and for small channels, it's a very common thing. It can be the topics, but I find this really strange, because one time I saw a comment and I read it, and it was one comment that I had on that whole, video, and I had the word suicide in there. And I was like, well, wait a minute. YouTube doesn't flag that and decide, no, we can't let that message through, that comment through. But they'll, delete a comment that was, or I can't see a comment that someone made that they were trying to tell me their dog died. And I was like, seriously? You know, how does this work? So sometimes I see a comment and sometimes I don't see them. And just to let you know, so far, every video I have, I see one comment, if that, throughout the day. You know, when I go in the morning. I really, you know, when I do see a comment, I always respond, even if it's just to put a little love heart or something to acknowledge that person, you know, to thank them for being brave enough, because sometimes people share, you know, an experience or something, and that takes courage. So, you know, wherever I can, I always give thanks and I always acknowledge, you know, that I've seen your comment. But I have to see if there's another way. I've been trying to find out if maybe on my laptop, if I go in on another, I think I've tried that and I didn't see them there either, to see the comments, you know, that people make that I'm just not receiving. So one is that, yes, maybe because it's a small channel, it doesn't have millions of subscribers, you know, that perhaps the comments aren't coming through. It could be that in the early days, I'm trying to think of, maybe it might have been 3 months in. There was, 3 months in was, I think there were two things that I did. One was I deleted a video, and big mistake. I didn't know at the time. I could have put it as private, but it already had over 900 views, and it had, I'm trying to think of 3 or 4 comments on it. And it came up as copyright for YouTube because I had put this beautiful meditation music I picked off Pixabay, and it was saying that was copyright, you know, that I shouldn't be using that music. And I tried to remove the music through YouTube, and then the voice was all scratchy. The message was beautiful. I should have just left it anyway, you know, now I'm hindsight, you know. But after that, I noticed that my views completely dropped. It's like YouTube stopped showing my videos, and the comments completely, you know, I hardly received any comments on videos after that. And that was like 3 months in. So, you know, it could have been that. There was a comment that came up, someone talking about Yeshua, that's the correct name for Jesus. And I kind of panicked at the time, you know, until I received the information that I needed to receive for it. But, you know, we learn as we go. And this is what making mistakes is all about. At the time, I panicked and I deleted that comment. So that could have been as well what flagged my YouTube channel, that now they're like, oh, she doesn't like comments, and now either she's deleting those. So I don't know, you know, what it is. I don't know if it is any of that or none of that, you know, because my daughter says, well, Mum, deleting that video shouldn't make any difference, you know. But all the videos up until then were in the 800s, 900s, 700s, you know. And then from there, it just dropped. You know, the next day it was like 2 views or something. I'm like, what happened? But anyway, it's life. You know, it's neither here nor there now. But know in your heart that if you've made a comment and I haven't responded with a little anything, even if it's just a little red love heart to say, you know, I usually click the like button and the heart that's underneath it, and I'll put a reply, even if it's just to put a heart. A lot of times I love to respond because information always comes through when people are asking questions, and I get to see things differently, you know, than how I was looking at them before. So for me, it's great receiving comments and seeing things through the eyes of others, you know, how they're seeing things. So different perspectives, different views, you know. There was this beautiful comment about self-worth, and that took me down this huge rabbit hole. I started to look into, well, what is self-worth? What is that? You know, that somehow they were seeing in me in that moment that I needed to focus on self-worth, you know, and it brought up a lot at the time. You know, I was just like, oh, wow, you know, it's about having confidence, and it's about seeing myself as worthy. You know, that's what I think it was more, that I am worthy, you know, and having that confidence, walking the earth like that, you know, that, yeah, anyway, so I always take all the comments to heart, and I realize that everything that comes through is serving me, no matter what that comment is. You know, that beautiful comment about Yeshua, you know, Jesus told me later that people get very caught up on names. You know, some people are really caught up on it, having to have the right name, you know, the correct name. And that is their path, you know. But I remember as a little one, I was talking to Jesus and I was calling him Jesus. And he never once corrected me and said, that's not my name. You know, I'm not going to talk to you now because that's not my name. When you say it properly, you know, I'll respond. But in church, that's what we were taught. You know, as a 5-year-old, how's that your fault? You know, or growing up in the Catholic Church, if they've decided that, oh, well, that's his name, that's what we grew up with, you know. But these beautiful beings on the other side, they don't care what you call them. If you call them in and they know that this is who you're calling in, they are there. They're not caught up on the names. It doesn't matter to them. You know, their energy, they're energetic beings. And what they bring through when they come through is far beyond words and names. You know, it's all about the energy, the love that they bring through. So, my beautiful beings, meditation. Know within your heart that however you meditate, however it works for you, is perfect for you. If you need to put on a piece of music, meditation music, and that quiet, you know, makes your mind more quiet, that then you can focus on that music and allow the information to come through. If you're following a guided meditation, I've had incredible breakthroughs with guided meditations from others. That's why I love creating them. That's why they're guided. They're guiding you to an outcome. You know, like our beautiful, there is a meditation to connect with your higher self. There's meditations to connect with angels. There's meditations to connect with, for healing, if you want healing. There's one for Jesus. There's one to connect with Mother Mary. There's all these beautiful meditations here with that intention, because the intention is what matters when you go in. The intention, what's the question? What is the intention? What is it that you want? Focus on that. And the answer will come through. Whatever that answer is right for you. It's perfect for you. All right, my beautiful beings. So do what works for you. You'll know, because you'll receive the guidance that you need. How it is that you need to work with your children. What do you need to do if that is an issue? If it's with your partner, what do I need to do? And you receive the message, you know that that's it. That's what you need to do. If it's about your work, ask for guidance. You know? Meditation, I find, is a very personal thing. But, you know, since I was little, it's been made to be this thing that you have to make your mind quiet and you have to sit there and the answers will come. And that's a myth, because it's impossible to make the mind completely quiet. You know? So choose what works for you. If it's to focus on your breathing, then focus on your breathing. If it's to sit in your beautiful garden under a tree, allow your garden to bring through the information. Observe the flowers, observe everything around you. Allow. All right, my beautiful beings. There's no right way or wrong way to do this. Meditation is a personal thing. But don't give up on doing it just because you believe that this is the way it needs to be done. This sitting there completely still and completely quiet. Because this is what everybody out there says, that this is what meditation is. Not so. I know from experience. I speak from experience, from one who has a mind that never stops. It is possible. All right, my beautiful beings. We love you guys. Remember to click like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the messages. And we'll see you in the next video, okay? Bye for now.